Hello, happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope you're doing good. This is kind of a hybrid of Daily Money Live with Janae. My Daily Money Live was kind of the interview I just did with Live Free Magazine. I just got off of that. It was about 40-minute interview. But I wanted to get on here because I've been seeing a few of, hey, thank you for joining the first one to be because I noticed it had went off and we had to do it again, the second part of it. So the second part was about 30 minutes and I think the first part is about 15 minutes. But I have been seeing, some podcasts being done. I have been seeing some live interviews being done, like Instagram live interviews. I have seen some news done, interviews, radio, all of that kind of stuff. So I wanted to come on here, right quick. Hey, how are you? Right quick, and just talk about some techniques and some tips and strategies if you during this time are going to be sharing your expertise, things that you're passionate about with other people, going live on interviews, that kind of stuff. Because I have been doing TV for 5 years now, and even now we're having to do things through Skype, and I think I've only done it through Skype. We haven't done FaceTime or anything. We've only done it through Skype. I've done podcast interviews through Zoom. I've done about 4 of those, and then I've done a few of the Instagram lives where I've been invited as a guest to talk about what's going on with finances. So I wanted to give a few tips. First and foremost, not what I'm doing right now. Like you would not see if I was doing something with, and see, I'm looking at something right now on a webinar on my computer. That's why it's like this. But usually I would have this that way, and you will see this, like this wall. You wouldn't even see my picture up there. That gives, like, every time I turn on my camera for people that are interviewing me, they're like, oh, I really love that red background on my wall and so forth. But making sure that you have kind of a solid color behind you, no matter what the color is, but something that is solid so that whatever you're wearing, sticks out at least a little bit and you're not kind of blending in. So if you have a white kind of wall or beige kind of wall, having some color on so you stand out, not something that's black and white and that's going to blend you into the wall. So those are just joining us. I am sharing some tips and strategies for people who are, especially entrepreneurs, and that during this time, a lot of news organizations, a lot of people who have podcasts, they want to interview experts in whatever it may be. It can be in fitness, it can be in finding a new hobby, arts and crafts, home improvement. Anything can be used right now because of the pandemic that we got going on. So of course you all know I deal with money, and so I've been getting a lot of requests. I actually have an interview in the morning of our interview in the morning, a TV interview in the morning, around small businesses and everything. So making sure that, of course, you have a solid background. Nobody is going to be inviting you into the studio right now throughout majority of America. So you need to be able to know how to work through Skype, work through FaceTime if you have an iPhone, and then being able to work through Zoom. Because what people are doing right now, they're not going live. They are actually recording it and then putting it up on the news station the next day. So if you've seen my 2 that I did, I think I did one last week and I did one the week before, that was cut and pieced together. Like they took what I said and cut and pieced it with the questions that they're asking when they recorded, all of that. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, just find the links that I've shared on other social media, on my Facebook and Twitter, to see how they done that. Another thing is making sure that before you get started with a news anchor or with someone with a podcast or on Instagram Live, if you're going, talking to each other and so forth like that, ask them, is it better? Because when I do Skype and all that stuff, it's on my computer. So I'll ask them, does it sound better with me talking without my headphones? Then I'll put the headphones in. The same thing with podcasts, do it sound better with my earphones in? And they'll say, okay, we like it with the earphones, or we don't like it with the earphones. So the 2 news stations that I did, they were both different interviews. One is me with my earphones in because the text and the audio people can hear me better with my earphones in. So when you see that interview, I had my earphones in. The second one that I did last week, at the end of last week, I don't have my earphones in because we did it through Skype on my phone instead of through the news station, and she recorded it, and so she said either way is fine. Same thing with podcasts. One podcast, I had my earphones in. The other three, I did not. They liked the way it sounded without the earphones. So that is a couple of tips I wanted to share. Make sure that your background looks nice. It's pretty solid. Make sure that whatever outfit you're wearing, men or women, that it kind of pops out from your background. Don't be blending into it. And checking your sound before you are, go live, like before they start recording. What's another tip that I would give you? Let's see. Something that's not news related. Let's say it's just podcast. Because, let's see, what's another one? If you're doing things with Instagram, like Instagram interviews, I've had a few of those. I had one today, and then I have one on the 20th, I believe. Making sure that the host understands that Instagram only gives you a certain amount of minutes. I believe it's 50 minutes. So if they decide to go longer than 50 minutes, it's going to cut them off. And they have to come back on. So they need to really decide on whether they're going to have, a 30-minute interview, or they're going to have a 45-minute interview, or they're fine with just people coming back on and that kind of way and breaking things up. What's another suggestion as well? When you do any of these interviews, please make sure that you are sharing the things out, okay? Whatever link people send to you, share it out, share the link out, and making sure you're tagging people on it. And that doesn't matter whether it's radio, news stations, podcasters, making sure before you get on an Instagram interview that you're sharing out their promotion. So the one I'm doing on the 20th, she's getting everything together. She's going to send it to me. I'm going to share it out on my platforms and everything, so that you are actually helping the person that's bringing you on for your expertise and getting as many people as possible on there. Let's see. And if you have any questions, just put it in the comment box. I'm trying to think what are other tips that I have for during this time if you're sharing your expertise. And another reason why you share it out, because you're going to get the attention of other newsrooms. So when I shared out my latest news segment around basically what was in the stimulus bill and how people can make their money stretch during this time, that was the one I did last week. I put it on LinkedIn, and in the people who looked at my profile, about 5 of them were production assistants and production editors that are at other TV stations, okay? And I'm actually about to put out some emails to some TV stations as well, because that's all people are talking about now is the economy and money and how to make it stretch and with these stimulus checks. So really, I need to take time and reach out to my contacts at other news stations, and even those across the country, because nobody is going inside news stations right now. They're not going inside news stations right now. So people are very fine with just doing a Skype interview if they know that you're a credible person. So that's why it's important to share any kind of media that you may be, involved in. All right, I think that is about it. I think that's about it. Oh, lighting. Make sure you got some good lighting as well, because that really helps. I have my, what is it called, ring light behind me, and it stays there. It stays right there because I pretty much do all of my interviews from right here. And this is even for podcasts. Some podcasts people, like, not only the audio part, they also are videotaping it to put on their YouTube channel. So just because you have a podcast interview, say, if somebody asks you to do a podcast, make sure you ask them up front, is this audio only, or will it be audio and visual? Okay, audio and visual, because you need to know that. You don't want to show up looking like a mess on the Zoom, because that's where they're recording it on, and they're like, we're going to be putting this up on YouTube as well, on our YouTube channel. And now you are pushing the podcast back, and thank you, pushing the podcast back, because you got to go get ready. All right, you got to go do whatever to look presentable for a video. because people want to see that you are presentable, especially if you're supposed to be an expert in your industry around anything. Okay, so making sure that you're asking ahead of time, is this podcast gonna be visual as well as audio? Let's see, and I think that is about it with my tips. I think that's the last one. I may think of some when I get off of here, but those are the last tips I can think about. Just to let you know, if you didn't know already, everything on my site is 50% off. Everything. So use the coupon code STIMULUS at checkout. I'll put it in here. Yeah, I'm sure y'all have heard the word stimulus 8,000 million times here recently. But if you've ever wanted one of my courses, you get it for 50% off right now by using the word stimulus. So my how to become a highly paid speaker, a lot of it in there, you know, in that one, as well as the speaker's blueprint, is how to get on news stations. All right, how to find these different opportunities to get in the news and get these high, the Huffington Post, BBC, CNBC, those, Forbes, all behind your name. That's what's behind my name. Black Enterprise, Jet Magazine, NPR, USA Today. Like, I'm giving you the tips of how I got that. That makes you more credible. That helps you with your prices, whether you're a speaker or not. If you're an entrepreneur and you got all that kind of stuff behind you, that helps with your pricing also, in addition to your value that you bring anyway. So every one of my courses is 50% off if you use the coupon code STIMULUS at checkout. All right, so I hope everybody's had a great Wednesday. We got 2 more days to kill it this week. This week has gone by really fast. So we got 2 more days to make it happen. So let's make sure that we're making it happen. And I will see you all tomorrow. All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.